Welcome to the Fantastic Fogey's Happy Hour, where I'll get happy or it'll take at least an hour. As you know, the format for the Fantastic Fogey's Happy Hour is I take questions from my fans and then provide honest, insightful, and often nonsensical answers. Our first question tonight comes from our dear friend Ron. He's back, and he is the soon-to-be college graduate and owner of the nation's largest and finest collection of wicker furniture. He asks, how do you figure that the issue of conservatism versus progressivism fits into modern-day politics, and by extension, this presidential election? He follows that up with, is it actually an issue or just a difference of opinion? In response to the first question, it fits in as the real battle in politics in general, and ultimately the battle for the soul of this country. Other than that, it's of little importance. In response to the second part of the question, yes, Ron, it's a real issue. It's not simply a difference of opinion. What is progressivism? Progressivism is the political philosophy in support of social reform. Progressives take the view that progress is being stifled by vast economic inequality between the rich and the poor, and is caused by minimally regulated, laissez-faire capitalism with monopolistic corporations, and is characterized by the intense and often violent conflict between capitalists and workers. Really sounds like a utopia, doesn't it? By comparison, conservatism is a political and social philosophy promoting traditional social institutions in the context of culture and civilization. The central tenets of conservatism include tradition, hierarchy, and authority, as well as property rights. Conservatives often seek to preserve a range of institutions, such as organized religion, parliamentary government, and, as I said a moment ago, property rights, with the aim of emphasizing continuity. That's generic. Historically, conservatism is associated with what we call right-leaning, and in the case of conservative, we use the word right because it's better than wrong-leaning. The term has since been used to describe a wide range of views. There's no single set of policies regarded as conservative because the meaning of conservatism depends on what is considered traditional in any given place and time. In modern American political parlance, the definition is slightly different, Ron. And here it is. Liberals hate those with whom they disagree. They see America as deeply flawed and evil. They assign rank and status based on race, gender, ethnicity, and sexuality. They see government as the lever to force redistribution of wealth without harming the finances of liberal elites. That's odd. They seek to seize control of government, either legally or by force, and then to use it to repress those whose thoughts, speech, and actions differ from their own. Progressives believe government should be large and should control every aspect of the lives of its citizens. Hate and intolerance, despite their rhetoric, are central tenets of modern liberal progressivism, and that hate and intolerance is essentially based in envy. Conservatives believe rather in the idea of America and the ideals that it represents to much of the rest of the world. They love their country, and they see it as the best examples of freedom, liberty, and equality the world has ever seen. They believe that one's worth is not tied to any superficial quality, social caste, or financial status. Conservatives believe that each person, irrespective of race, color, creed, or religion, can succeed, but they believe they will do so based on their own merit and hard work. Conservatives believe government should be small and less intrusive to create the freest environment possible to allow for the greatest advancement possible. Conservatism philosophy, at least, relies on the tolerance of varying viewpoints, respect for the individual, and love of country. If you're watching television and you're wondering which ones of those you're seeing on your television screens are liberals, that's easy. They're the ones throwing Molotov cocktails. Well, that's one man's opinion on the subject anyway. My sister has also submitted another question this week. It proves that prefrontal lobotomies are not everything they're cooked up to be. Okay, she wants to know where Paul Harvey has gone, what's the rest of his story, where did he live, and how did he start out? Great question. Paul Harvey was born Paul Harvey Aurant on September 4th, 1918 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. American radio commentator and news columnist, noted for his firm staccato delivery and his conservative but individualistic opinions on current events. He enjoyed an almost unparalleled longevity as a national broadcaster. Harvey was descended from 5 generations of Baptist preachers, and at the age of 14, he landed a menial job at KVOO Radio in Tulsa. But soon, he was doing voice work there. He studied briefly at the University of Tulsa, but quit to work full-time in radio. By the age of 25, he had gained experience at stations across the plains in Midwest and had covered the activities of the U.S. military for the Office of War Information. In 1940, he married the love of his life, Lynn Cooper, who he would repeatedly and often refer to in his broadcasts as Angel. Following a medical discharge from the Army Air Corps in 1944, he shortened his name to Paul Harvey and began broadcasting for Chicago radio station WENR. Paul Harvey News and Comment proved immediately popular in Chicago and was nationally syndicated by the American Broadcasting Network, or company, in 1951. In 1976, the program was spun off as The Rest of the Story. And these were brief biographical narratives and were written by Paul Harvey's only child, Paul Harvey Aurant Jr. Harvey's mix of current events, news, human interest, anecdotes, and common sense editorials reached some 24 million listeners via 1,600 radio stations daily. His staccato pacing, bouncing intonation, and signature hooks, such as "Stand by for news" and "Paul Harvey, good day," helped make his voice one of the most recognizable in the history of radio. And he was also awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2005. Paul Harvey died on February 28th, 2009. As for where he is now, with that voice and his character, he is no doubt leading prayers in heaven. And that is the rest of the story. She also wanted to know if everybody was truly kung fu fighting, and suggests that surely that was a lie perpetuated by the left. No, dear sister, that was just a song and seems fairly apolitical, as it lacks any identity politics, cancel culture, or general intolerance. It seems unlikely it is a tool of the left. Kung Fu Fighting was written and performed by Carl Doulas, the first Jamaican-born singer to have a #1 single in the United States. The song was written and released in 1974. Following its release, the song did not really receive any radio airplay for the first 5 weeks and sold poorly as a result. But the song began gaining popularity in dance clubs. Those were actual things in the 70s. We don't have them anymore. Eventually entering the United Kingdom singles chart at number 42 on August 17th, 74, and reaching the top of that same chart on September 21st. where it remained for 3 weeks. It was then released in the United States, where it quickly topped the Billboard Hot 100 chart. That single, Little Sister, went on to sell 11 million records worldwide. On a lesser known note, the song was originally considered as a B-side filler on a single. For those of you younger than 100, that's a physical record that you used to play on a record player, and it contained a total of 2 songs. One on the A side was always the song that was considered to be the better hit or more probable hit, and the B side was often complete crap. Anyway, Kung Fu Fighting rose above that assignment to become a #1 hit for Carl Doulas. Well, I hope that answers the questions you had for this Friday's happy hour. I am happy, I promise, Ron. Enjoy your day. God bless, and good night.